So, in terms of fees for estate agents, now you mentioned to me before we started you work for John D. Wood. I think I've worked with them in the past, and they pride themselves on higher fees for their clients. What advice would you give to a valuer or somebody looking to start out or has just started as a valuer in the industry to try and, because you interestingly said when you first started, it took 2 years to negotiate a property sale, and estate agents do work, I believe, exceptionally hard for their fees. We seem to have gone through a phase where
Sorry.
bless you. Where
Thanks.
fees seem to be the first thing that drops, and then it becomes a bit of a war. So, have you got any advice or tips for people to keep your fee levels up that little bit higher?
Increase your fees. The thing is, if you don't value your service, your clients won't value it.
Yeah,
And that's one of the painful lessons I've learned over the years. I charge by the hour, and if I charge too little, people just don't value the advice I give. And if you're
yeah,
an agent, you should actually value the service you give. And Foxtons are famous, or used to be famous, for maintaining 2.5%. Another number of other agents did so. But the trouble is because values have risen so quickly, and it's been so easy to sell, it's difficult to justify those fees,
yeah,
especially if you're on high value properties. Why should you be paid 50 to £100,000 commission, on or £30,000 for just opening the door? It sells itself. That market, I think, is over. So I think there's justification for fees being proportionate to the work, and I think we're going into an era of much harder selling, and it's going to take longer to sell a property. So I think people need to be aware that your fees are going to have to be 2.5%. And when I started in the early 90s, the average fee was 2.5% plus negotiated bonus. We
yeah,
were getting the price that was actually set, but it was just taking 18 months, 2 years to do so. We had
yeah,
properties on the books that have been on for 3, 4, 5 years, but we got the price. It's just there was no urgency to the market. And people didn't mind paying 2.5% because they were just glad to be shot of the property.
yeah,
So, and I think those times are returning. And I was just talking to some agents yesterday, and they said how difficult it's been because certain agents have cut fees, cut fees, cut fees, and owners are too happy to accept it because they say, well, look, you've sold the property within 2 weeks.
yeah,
What justification for 15, 20,000 pounds? And to be honest, there is little justification. Everyone's got access to Land Registry or Rightmove Plus, so they can actually see who's selling, what's selling, how much it's selling for. So the old days of saying, well, I add value because I've sold X, Y, and Z, and I know the market better than anyone. Well, a lot of people can go in and say, I know the market.
yeah,
So I think it's going to be in that it's a more difficult market. It's going to get even more difficult going forward. I think we're probably in a recession, or we're about to go into a nasty recession, and therefore people are going to actually have to say, look, it's going to take months to sell your property. We
yeah,
need to be compensated. We're going to have to put it on the portals. We're going to have to do the full marketing spiel, brochure, floor plans, photographs, etc., etc. It's going to be 2.5%.